Welcome back, everybody, as we conclude our look at the Double Masters 2022 set for this year, releasing on July 8th and the weekend of. So, last we left off, we had the colors to get into, the artifacts, and then I am going to go over the lands that they have that they're reprinting. They're not bad lands, they're definitely valuable. So I'll be going over those as well, but first, some caffeine. Alright, there's only one colorless card to go over. And it's a card that we already knew was happening, which is Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn. This is a 15 mana, 15/15 legendary Eldrazi. If you haven't already heard of him, the spell cannot be countered. When you cast the spell, you get an extra turn after this one. It has flying, protection from spells that are one or more colors. It has Annihilator 6. And when it's put into a graveyard from anywhere, its owner shuffles their graveyard into their library. So a card that I have owned for a long time because it's one of the ones I was really excited about early on when this came out in the Rise of the Eldrazi set, or at least that's when I saw it. I have the pre-release card promo. Yeah, pre-release. Super excited to have that card. Downside though, this cannot be run in Commander. So it's the only card that I know of that we've reviewed so far that you can't run in Commander. I have it in a modern deck, but if I were to convert that to Commander, I would have to take this card out. So definitely a really good card though. This card, even in the pre-sale for this set, is going for $32. So if you want to get your hands on one of them, I think this set is the way to do that. We're seeing all three of the OG Titans for Eldrazi coming back. And so if you're wanting to get your hands on them, you haven't already had them, then you grab them while you can. Their price will probably, I think, go up anyways again after this set. So this will drop it down for a bit. But that's all the colorless cards that I had to go over. That really just throws us into the artifact cards. So I'm going to start off with the Aether Vial, which is a 1-mana artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a charge counter on this card. If you tap it, you may put a creature card with a mana value equal to the number of charge counters on this card from your hand to the battlefield. A really good card, really good with proliferating or any other way that you can to get more counters on this card. But even without doing that, it's almost like free mana in a sense that you're getting at the beginning of your upkeep. I used to play Hearthstone. Reminds me a bit of how Hearthstone would work, where you can just use it to put something down on the battlefield. So really good. Card is pre-selling in this set for about $18. So if you want to get your hands on it, this is, again, the time to do that. This is a good card. Next is the Conqueror's Flail. This is a 2-mana artifact equipment where the equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each color among permanents that you control. And as long as this is attached to a creature, your opponents cannot cast spells during your turn, and it's a 2-mana equip. So it's definitely a good card. I don't think it's great for the first effect. I think it's great for the second effect. But this card is going for about $15 in the pre-sale in this set. So again, if you can get this card, you want to try to get it. Next card I want to go over is the Cold Steel Heart, a 2-mana snow artifact. It enters the battlefield tapped, and as it enters the battlefield, you choose a color, and you may tap it for a mana of the chosen color. Synergizes really well with snow cards, things that say every snow permanent that you own, or every mana that came from a snow permanent does this thing. So a good card for those things, especially with Snowlands coming back with the Kaldheim set. Alright, so let's go over our next card that I want to talk about, which is the Crucible of Worlds. This is an artifact I've seen quite a bit. This is a 3-mana artifact that you may play lands from your graveyards. I did talk about it in one of my previous videos where I went over that Elf Shaman that allowed you to play lands from the top of your library. Also allowed you to play an additional land on each of your turns. This combos well with cards like that, where you can play additional lands, and it also combos with, say, like Strip Mine, where you have to sacrifice it to do a thing. Any lands that you have to sacrifice and do a thing, this allows you to continue to do that on each of your turns. So even if you don't have a land in your hand, if you're running sacrifice lands, Crucible of Worlds is definitely a good card for those decks too. But I've seen some crazier combos than just that. This card goes for about $20 on the pre-sale of this set. So if I can get a hold of this card, this is one of the cards I definitely want to have. Next, I'm going to go over the Darksteel Plate, a 3-mana artifact equipment. The artifact itself is indestructible, and then it equips for 2 mana and gives the equipped creature indestructible as well. So definitely a good card. Pre-selling right now for about $10 from this set. I don't see it a lot though in even Voltron decks. So I do recognize this as being a good card, but I don't think this is one of the first cards you go to. But a good card, and if you're trying to get your hands on one of these cards, then again, this is a set to do that. Another card that I'm really excited about that I want to go over, it's not super valuable, but the Dragon Arch, a 5-mana artifact. 2 mana, and you tap it, and you may put a multicolored creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. This is one of those cards that I definitely want in my Ur-Dragon deck, and I think this is a card that a lot of people will probably run in that deck. It's a little bit more specific. It's just really good for those types of decks. I also think this is probably good for, like I've seen a Jodah deck before, stuff like that. Multicolored creatures are run in other decks as well. The card goes for about, I think, $2 out of this set, so nothing super crazy, but it's a nice reprint, and the only other print of this card looked kind of old anyway, so I like that style of art, but it's also good to see a newer version of it. The next card I want to go over is the Firemind Vessel. This is a 4-mana artifact. It enters the battlefield tapped, but you get to tap it for 2 mana of different colors. So it's weird that it words it that way too, because it has to be different colors, but it's still a really good card, and it's not super valuable. This is a card that yeah, I wish was in a... I'm glad that they're reprinting it, but if you were looking to get your hands on this card, this set wasn't really the place you wanted to see a card that is on that price point. But it's still not a bad card. It's a decent mana rock, especially when you're trying to fix colors. And I would definitely want this in my Ur-Dragon deck if I pulled it, so I won't be sad to pull it. It's just for the price point of what we're looking at in this set, this is probably a lesser exciting card. Still want to go over it though, just especially because I'm excited about Dragon cards. Alright, next is a Pithing Needle. This card is a good card. So 1 mana, once it enters the battlefield, choose a card name, and the activated abilities sources with the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. So it doesn't lock you out of land or mana production, but it is a card that locks you out of a lot of other things. If your card synergizes around something specific, then Pithing Needle can definitely be an issue. Trying to come up with a joke with the fact that it's annoying and pointy. The card's not super valuable though. It's printed in a lot of different sets, as recent as the Innistrad Midnight Hunt set. So this isn't something that you don't see anymore, but it's a good card, and you know what? I'm happy to get another opportunity to get the card. It's just, again, it's not a super valuable card. Right now it's pre-selling for about $1.44, so it's still a lower value card, but you know, not bad to see a card that is at least good. I don't remember if we went over the Planar Bridge yet, but it's a 6-mana legendary artifact. If you tap 8 mana and you tap this, search your library for a permanent card, put it onto the battlefield and shuffle. This card, I think, is pretty crazy because for 6 mana you get it out, and in a turn or two, depending on how your mana ramp looks, you get to go ahead and grab a permanent from your library and put it on the board. I mean, it seems like a really good card to me. And this card is right now going for about $5, not super valuable because I think it's specific to big creature decks, or like win cons that require expensive artifacts even. But this is, you know, you pull Avacyn from your library if you haven't gotten her out yet. You pull, like, this is one of those things where you pull a much needed card that you've been looking for. So then we have the 5-mana Thrumming Stone. This is a legendary artifact that spells you cast have Ripple 4. This is an effect that I've not actually seen before, so I'm going to go over it with you guys here. Whenever you cast a spell, you may reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may cast spells with the same name as that spell from among the revealed cards without paying their mana cost, and put the rest on the bottom of your library. Okay. Definitely a card that I can see being crazy in like Modern. Yeah, because you can only run 1 copy of each in Commander. So definitely seems this has got to be a card that you don't use in Commander then, right? Unless you're playing a bunch of rats or something. But the card itself is going for quite a bit of money. This is a $37 pre-sale card out of this set. So it definitely has some value, and I can definitely see the value in this card. Just my first evaluation was from a Commander mindset, but I'm seeing this as maybe being more valuable in Modern. But hey, maybe I'm wrong about that. If I am, let me know if y'all have seen this in Commander, or if you know, like, hey, this is actually this is used a lot in Commander. I don't know, but I don't see how it could be. You're restricted to building a deck with one of every card in Commander, not multiples. So that does it for all of the artifact cards. I do want to just go over some of the lands that we're going to see reprinted in this set. I know I went over the pricier ones already, but there are some cards that still have some value that are being reprinted that I just wasn't super excited about. So I'm going to go over them here. They're giving us reprints on Azorius Chantry, Boros Garrison, Dimir Aqueduct, and the Golgari Rot Farm, Gruul Turf, Izzet Boiler Works, Orzhov Basilica. I always say that one wrong. I don't run those colors very much. Rakdos Carnarium, Selesnya Sanctuary, Simic Growth Chamber. Those are all basically the same kind of land. The idea is you drop them down, return a land to your hand, but they produce 2 and they come in tapped. So they're reprinting all those. They're also giving us a reprint on Forbidden Orchard. This one is tap for a mana of any color, and whenever you tap it, target opponent creates a 1/1 color spirit creature token. So it's a mana of any color at a cost, and the cost, instead of it coming in tapped, is for your opponents to get something on their board. But these are all the reprints that we're seeing in the land section. I just wanted to go over them with you guys. I've not actually seen the Forbidden Orchard before. I usually see Exotic Orchard, because that one its restriction is more manageable than giving someone else tokens, but I don't see this card as being bad. Forbidden Orchard is giving someone a 1/1 that does not have flying. Okay, well, Steven is wrong as always here. This card is pre-selling for like $14. I'm impressed. I mean, I guess it's nice that it doesn't give someone a spirit until you tap it, but every time you tap it, you give someone a 1/1. Doesn't have flying, I guess, and it is a mana of any color. Odds are you're using it to some more value. It's also nice that if you use it for a board wipe, you are wiping the thing that you're creating, because this happens on tap, then you cast. So I don't know. I definitely think that this card is better than I think. Then it has to be. So I'm interested in hopefully seeing this card get used then by some other people, so I can see how wrong I am. But expensive cards coming out, yay. That does it for all of the cards from this set. I'll do another check to see if I missed anything tomorrow, but as far as I'm aware, this is everything that we have coming out in Double Masters. The evaluation on this set, from my mind, is definitely worth it to get into the set if you can. These are expensive cards that I otherwise, and I think a lot of people, wouldn't be able to get their hands on without saving up money to buy. And having a chance of getting multiple good cards in a pack, in my mind, is very valuable. So I'm looking forward to this set. I hope you all are as well. If there are any cards that you think are better than I thought, or cards that are not as good as I think, you want to help me understand a card better, definitely let me know in the comments below. I am learning Magic more and more every day. It's part of the joy I have of this game, is that I see cards that people have played with for a long time, and for me, it's the first time I lay my eyes on these cards. So try to get my evaluation of these cards just by looking at them with you guys here. So let me know what y'all think in the comments, and until next time, later gamers.